Hello everyone and welcome to my first video on Just Talk channel. Today we will be talking about top 5 PC games based on movies. There was a period when every major cinema release would have a hastily developed game to go alongside it, and even though it doesn't happen as often these days, the predictably poor quality of these releases made the very idea of game based on a movie repulsive to most people. But there are a few PC games that buck the trend. These are top 5 PC games based on movies. Number 5. Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation is a survival horror game developed by Creative Assembly and based on the Alien science fiction horror film series. It was published by Sega and released for Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360 and Xbox One in October 2014. The game is set 15 years after the events of the 1979 Alien film and follows Amanda Ripley, daughter of Alien protagonist Alan Ripley, and she investigates the disappearance of her mother. Unlike previous game adaptation of the Alien franchise, Alien Isolation places an emphasis on stealth and survival horror gameplay, requiring the player to avoid and outsmart a single alien creature with tools such as motion tracker and flamethrower. It was designed to resemble the original Alien film rather than the more action-oriented 1986 sequel Aliens, and features a similar lo-fi 1970s vision of what the future would look like. The game runs on an engine built from scratch to accommodate technical aspects such as atmospheric and lighting effects and the alien's behavior. Creative Assembly intended to make Alien Isolation a third-person game, but used first-person to create a more intense experience. Number 4. Mad Max. Mad Max is an action-adventure video game based on the Mad Max franchise, developed by Avalanche Studio and published by Warner Bros. It was released for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in September 2015. Feral Interactive published the game's macOS and Linux versions. In the game, player controls Max Rokatinsky as he progresses through the wasteland building a vehicle, the Magnum Opus, to do battle with a gang of riders, led by Scarabus Scrotus, and to reach the storied Plains of Silence, where he hopes to find peace. Mad Max emphasizes vernacular combat, in which players can use weapons and armor upgrades on their car to fight enemies. It is set in an open post-apocalyptic wasteland consisting of deserts, canyons and caves. Number 3. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is an action shooter video game based on the Star Wars film franchise. It is the 4th major installment of the Star Wars Battlefront series and 7th overall, and a sequel to the 2015 reboot of the series. It was developed by EA DICE in collaboration with Criterion Games and Motive Studios, and published by Electronic Arts. The game was released worldwide on November 17, 2017 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Microsoft Windows. Upon release, Battlefront 2 received mixed reviews from critics. The game was also subject to widespread criticism regarding the status of its loot boxes, which could give players substantial gameplay advantages if purchased with real money. A response from EA's community team on Reddit on the topic became the single most downvoted comment in the site's history, and in response, EA decided to temporarily remove microtransactions from the game till a later date. In January 2018, EA announced that the microtransactions would return in the next few months. These returning microtransactions are purely cosmetic and do not affect gameplay, and are purchased directly through in-game currency rather than through loot kits. Number 2. Spider-Man. Marvel's Spider-Man is a 2018 action-adventure game developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Based on the Marvel Comics superhero Spider-Man, it is inspired by the long-running comic book mythos and adaptations in other media. In the main storyline, the superhuman crime lord Mr. Negative orchestrated a plot to seize control of New York City's criminal underworld. With Mr. Negative threatening to release a deadly virus, Spider-Man must confront him and protect the city while navigating the personal problems of his civilian persona, Peter Parker. The game is presented from the third-person perspective with a primary focus on Spider-Man's traversal and combat abilities. Spider-Man can freely move around New York City, interacting with characters and undertaking missions, and unlocking new gadgets and suits by progressing through the main story or completing tasks. The player is able to complete side missions away from the main story to unlock additional content and collectible items. Combat focuses on chaining attacks together against numerous foes while avoiding damage, using the environment and webs to incapacitate foes. Number 1. Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Middle-earth: Shadow of War is an action role-playing video game developed by Monolith Productions and published by Warner Bros. It is the sequel to 2014's Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor and was released worldwide for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on October 10, 2017. Shadow of War continues the previous game's narrative, which is based on J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium and set between the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Like its predecessor, the game also takes heavy inspiration from director Peter Jackson's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings film adaptations. The player continues the story of the Ranger Talion and the spirit of the Elf Lord Celebrimbor, who shares Talion's body, as they forge a new ring of power to amass an army to fight against Sauron. The game builds upon the Nemesis system introduced in Shadow of Mordor, allowing Talion to gain followers from several races of Middle-earth, including Uruks and Oloks, and plan out complex strategies using these to complete missions. That's all for today, everyone. Thanks for watching this video. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and please, if you like the video, press the like and subscribe button. It means a lot, guys. Thank you everyone, and see you soon.